Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Blue Whale and welcome back to another Preseason 2016 video. And this is without a doubt the last Preseason 2016 video that we will have. You guys are going to be seeing this on Wednesday the 13th, and I'm pretty sure that the patch was supposed to come out on Wednesday the 13th. But as far as I can tell, Riot hasn't said that it's coming out, and I'm recording this Tuesday night. So basically, I know that the patch is coming out very soon, but since it's not out, I obviously can't make a guide about that patch yet. So this is going to be a Preseason 2016 video. But since I'm saving a lot of champions for when the new patch comes out, this is going to be a guide on a champion we've already done for the preseason. So this is going to be another Hecarim video. If you haven't seen the last Hecarim video, there'll be a link down below. But in the last video, we focused on tank Hecarim, and this video is going to be solely about damage Hecarim. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Okay, so here we are on the client, and it probably looks a little bit different than usual, and that's because somebody actually requested that I don't show. So in my other videos, I just showed my desktop screen, and you saw the whole client, and then you also saw some of my background image. But now, somebody requested that I cut it down to just the client, which I can do, and we're going to do for this video. And let me know in the comment section if it makes a difference to you, or if you like it better like this. I don't really care. It's not like it's difficult for me to do it like this, but I thought it looked better the other way. But somebody asked for it like this, so, you know, like I said, it's no big deal. We'll do it like this time. Anyways, that being said, we'll get the boring stuff out of the way first as well. So first off, I do have a Twitter if you guys want to follow me there. There's always a link in the description below. And YouTube updates are posted there. And when we get enough followers there, I'll definitely start interacting with you guys, asking what kind of videos you want to see next. You know, maybe organizing playing together for the day. Stuff like that will go on the Twitter. So if you want to follow me there, that's cool. If not, you know, it doesn't really matter. It's just there if you want to. Also, there's a chat room on the client called Whale Lounge. I'm always in it whenever I'm logged into League. How you join it is you click the middle button. We'll close it for an example. So you click the middle button, you click join a chat room, and then you type in Whale Lounge. And then it's going to put you here. There are usually a few people in here, and if I'm looking for people to play normals with, I'll ask in here. And also, if you have any questions, you can post it here. Whenever I'm not in a game, I usually have this open while I'm looking for a new game or in a champion select, so I read it quite frequently. So anyways, those are there if you want to use them. If you don't, that's fine. Also, we do have some music for today. It's going to be the Sutopolis City remix by Poke Remix Studio. There'll be a link in the description below. Also, the way I replay it on repeat is a Chrome extension called Auto Replay, so you can look that up if you'd like to do that with your YouTube videos. And yeah, we'll just have this in the background. Shouldn't be too loud. And now we can start talking about Hecarim's runes and masteries. So the runes I run on Hecarim are usually these. These are the standard ones. And the thing about Hecarim, as you guys probably know if you're watching this video, is Hecarim is passive. If you get movement speed, it'll add to your attack damage. And while that is really cool concept, and I mean it does give you more damage, that doesn't mean that you should focus your whole build around getting movement speed, okay? Like where you can pick it up, you should, and it'll help you, but just think of it as a bonus. Don't think of it as something that you need to do for your kit to work. Like for example, Ryze's abilities scale with his AP and his mana, and you have to build mana on Ryze in order to do damage. But Hecarim, it's not like that. You don't have to build movement speed to do damage. It's just there to help you a little bit more if you want to use it. So, knowing that, these are the runes I run on them. Some people would want to run movement speed Quince. That's basically why I said that. If you run movement speed Quince, your jungling is going to be a lot slower. You can run it in lane Hecarim. That's a lot different, but as far as jungling goes, you really don't want to. So I take attack damage quintessences, I take 5 armor pin quints, no, 5 attack damage marks, sorry. 5 attack damage marks and 4 armor pin marks. The reason that you take some armor pin on your page here is because the jungle item no longer gives armor pin, it just gives a lot more attack damage. So if you can put some armor pin on your rune page, it's going to help you a lot later in the game, and you definitely can on Hecarim. You're going to be able to clear just fine with these runes. You take armor yellows, because if you don't take armor yellows, the jungle monsters will kill you on your first clear, and you take magic resist blues. This is just the standard page, like I said. If you can see the title, it's my AD versus AP page. So if the enemy has an AP champion at all, I would probably take this page. If they don't, you can run this page. And what it has are 3 cooldown per level blues and 6 regular cooldown blues. And what that gives you is 10% CDR at level 18. If you can see here, it's 5 flat and then 5 per level. So, no, 5 at 18. So it's 10 when you're at level 18. And then this way, you can actually build a lot more creative item builds when you already have 10% CDR. But if they have an AP champion, you're really going to suffer not having the magic resist here. So I like to take flat magic resist. If you want to take scaling magic resist, you can. But just my personal preference, I'd rather be strong early than worry about getting strong late. So on Hecarim, so I take magic resist flats. Now on the masteries, they're a little bit different than the last page or the last time because obviously this is a damage-oriented Hecarim build. So basically, you run 18 in Cunning and 12 in Resolve. Right now, Cunning is definitely the superior tree, as you guys know. But they are nerfing Precision back down to where it was before they buffed it next patch, as far as I can tell. So when they do that, Precision's going to be really bad again, but Thunderlords is going to be pretty good. So honestly, next patch, which will be 6.1, if you're watching this then, you can run 18 in Ferocity as well. However, Thunderlords is definitely the best keystone for damage Hecarim, but Battering Blows will be a lot better than Precision next patch. So if you were going to run 12 in Fervor, I'll just do it real quick. But as of now, on patch 5.24, which I'm still on, you definitely want 18 in Cunning. But if you did want to run here, you would probably take these. Fervor's going to get a really big buff next patch too, so it's going to be a lot better on Hecarim. Deathfire Touch, you don't really have damage over time. You could get it and it would apply on your W, but you don't really need it, and you definitely don't want Warlords. So you would get Fervor. Fervor, like I said, is a lot weaker than Thunderlords, but Battering Blows will be a lot better than Precision next patch. But as of this patch, Cunning's the best tree, and I'll talk about the Cunning stuff. Nope, not that. Not that either. Okay, so this page, as you can see, does take all the movement speed stuff. Now this one doesn't actually really add to your damage because it's movement speed out of combat, but Hecarim's actually a pretty good ganker, so if you have bonus movement speed while out of combat, you can get around the map quicker and gank more often. This one, it's just bonus movement speed in Brush and River. If you're fighting in a bush, this will give you a small attack damage boost, and once again, it just helps you get around the map. They do go with Hecarim's kit, and that's why I take them over their respective other things, but they don't help that much. Okay, so next up, Runic Affinity. This is the best one for junglers. A lot of people have been asking me about Assassin on junglers, and I even know Meteos takes Assassin, so if you guys want to take Meteos' word over mine, you can. However, in my opinion, since junglers generally gank, and while you're ganking, you'll have an ally nearby, you're not going to get to use Assassin that much. So I prefer Runic Affinity. Runic Affinity makes you have your buffs longer, and the longer you have red buff, the easier your ganks are going to be, so on and so forth. So I think Runic Affinity is a lot better on junglers, but I know a lot of people run Assassin. You can, but once again, I'm going to run Runic Affinity. So here, Merciless, you obviously take Merciless. You don't need Meditation as a jungler. You do have mana problems early on Hecarim, but those go away once you get your jungle items, so don't worry about Meditation. Merciless, definitely dangerous game. This is a support mastery, and then Precision right now is very overpowered on physical damage champions. And then of course Thunderlords is the best keystone for Hecarim. Now over here, I do take Unyielding because basically you don't really have health recovery problems in the jungle, so there's no reason to get an extra 2 health per 5 seconds. You know, that's a half a health, not even a half health a second. It's 0.4 of health a second. And somebody just messaged me on League, so let me pause this real quick. Okay, we're back. So you don't take recovery because it's 2 health per 5 seconds, so that's like 0.4 health a second. And since you don't have recovery problems on Hecarim, there's no reason to take that. Instead, you should take Unyielding, because you are going to build some armor and magic resist. Even though this is a damage-oriented build, you can't just build damage on Hecarim. That's not going to work. You do have to build some bonus armor and magic resist. So you're going to take this. I do take Explorer, we already talked about that. And then Runic Armor is way better than Veteran Scars. I hope they buff Veteran Scars, because right now Veteran Scars is only good on maybe 80 carries, if 80 carries want to go down this tree. And then almost every other champion in the game, it's better to take Runic Armor. If you can heal at all, it's better to take Runic Armor, and you definitely heal with your W on Hecarim. And then finally, Insight. I like Insight because it reduces your Summoner cooldown, your Ghost on Hecarim, and your Smite. You can take Perseverance if you feel like you're dying when you're low health, but really, it's not nearly as good as Insight. So, these are the masteries, and then now we'll move to item sets. And I already have the item set built out. So, you're going to start with Hunter's Talisman and Refillable Potion, just like last time. You really shouldn't have much problems on your first clear. It's not that easy, but it's definitely not hard. If you are having problems on your first clear, you should get 3 health pots instead of a 3 health pots instead of a refillable potion. And if this is your first time ever playing Hecarim, I would also recommend doing that. But if you have any experience with Hecarim, refillable potion is definitely better. Hunter's Talisman, you do have mana problems early, like I said, so you definitely want this one over Hunter's Machete. And then a Warding Totem to make sure you don't get invaded at level 1. Next, you can get whatever kind of smite you want. I like green smite because I like to be able to place wards on the map. Blue smite will give you a small bit of movement speed, which should technically increase your attack damage, and it makes your ganks a little bit better. So Stalker's Blade probably goes the best with your kit. And then red smite, I guess you can take this. You don't auto attack a ton on Hecarim, so I wouldn't really take this, but it does reduce damage you take, so it's not bad. But I like Tracker's Knife the most. Placing wards is just such a big deal to me that I don't like giving up Tracker's Knife if I can help it. And then obviously you're going Warrior because this is a damage build. So Warrior is going to give you 60 attack damage and 10% CDR. And if you are very perceptive, you'll notice that this build isn't actually optimal because we have 10% CDR here, 10% CDR here, and then we have 20% here and another 10% here. So that adds up to 50%, and obviously you can't get 50%, you can only get 40%. Now the reason for that is just because these items go so well with Hecarim's kit. There is a lot of overlapping here though. This isn't necessarily the most optimal page, but it's a really good page. Instead of Black Cleaver, if you don't want to take Black Cleaver, you can take Yomu's instead. Or you can even take Mama Mortius. But the thing is, if you don't take at least Yomu's, then you won't hit the CDR cap. So we'll actually move it down to this. You'll count. Okay, yeah, I like this better. This is going to be the official build, and these are alternatives. So with this build, you get 40% CDR because this gives you 10. Triforce now gives you 10. Yomu's gives you 10, and then Spirit Visage gives you 10. Triforce is a really good item in Hecarim. It gives you move speed. It gives you CDR. It gives you some attack damage. It gives you some health. You know, it's an all-around really good item for Hecarim. Yomu's, the active, gives you movement speed, which is going to give you more attack damage. The attack speed doesn't really matter, but it's not going to hurt you, certainly. It gives you 65 attack damage, which is a lot, and it gives you 20 flat armor pin, which is also a lot. Then Deadman's Plate, you guys know I think Deadman's Plate's the best item in the game, pretty much for junglers. It gives you good health, good armor, and a lot of mobility, and those are all things that are very good on jungle champions, and even more so on Hecarim, because when you get the bonus movement speed from Deadman's, it'll increase your attack damage, so it'll make your crushing blow even more powerful. Boots, I know I skipped over those. I take white boots and Alacrity. This is going to give you the most movement speed from boots in combat. However, if you're not ahead or you're just versus a lot of CC, I recommend you take Merc Treads. And if you're versus 5 AD, Ninja Tabby are going to be a lot better than Swiftness. But if you can go Swiftness if they have a balanced team and you're ahead, you definitely want to go Swiftness. If they don't have a ton of CC, then you could still go Swiftness. And then Alacrity whenever you can get it. Don't rush Alacrity. Definitely don't rush it. But whenever you have some extra gold, you can put it into Alacrity. And then finally, Spirit Visage. You guys know Spirit Visage is a great item on Hecarim. It gives you 70 magic resist, which is most an item can give you. It gives you 500 health, which is good health. It gives you 10% CDR, which will cap you at 40%. And then it increases all healing received by 20%. So this is going to increase all the healing that your W gives you, and it's going to make you live a lot longer in fights. It also increases how much Dangerous Game heals you, how much your lifesteal heals you in the jungle with this, with Hunter's Machete. So it's a really, really good item on Hecarim. And then alternatives, we already talked about boots. Iceborne Gauntlets are very good on Hecarim, and I actually recommended them in my previous video. But they're definitely more defensive focused. I wouldn't really get Iceborne Gauntlets on this build unless if I was versus 5 AD, then you definitely want them. Otherwise, Triforce is probably your best bet. You can get Banshee's Veil, kind of the same thing with Gauntlets. If you're versus a bunch of AD, get Gauntlets. If you're versus a bunch of AP, get Banshee's Veil. And then you can go Black Cleaver. Black Cleaver is a very good item on Hecarim. It gives you okay health, a lot of attack damage, and it gives you 20% CDR, and then of course it gives you all of the armor shred on your Q. Well, on any physical damage, but you'll get a lot of stacks from it with your Q. So Black Cleaver is a very, very good item on Hecarim, but it has some overlap with Trinity Force with the CDR. You're going to go over with CDR if you get this instead of Youmuu's, and you already have a Rage passive from Triforce, so it's going to overlap with this. But Black Cleaver isn't bad at all, it's just not as good as... If you want the most optimal build, you go for these. However, if you want some more health and you don't care about getting an extra 10% CDR, then you can go Black Cleaver instead of Youmuu's. And then Ma is a really good item. You're actually going to see me start to build Ma in my game because I hadn't really thought of the item build and the gameplay we're going to see, so I was just kind of building whatever came to mind. And this is going to give you another 10 armor pin plus the 20 from this. That's already 30 armor pin. You're going to have 5 from your rune page. That's 35. And then right now you get 14 from your masteries, but when they nerf it, you're only going to get 9. But still, that's putting you over 40 armor pin. So that's a lot of armor pin to have on a champion. You're going to do pretty much true damage to AD carries and mid laners. Until they get Zonias, of course. So you can go Ma. It's a very good item on Hecarim, but as far as the optimal build, this is a very good damage build Hecarim. And that's it for item sets. And now we'll move on to the gameplay. Okay, so here we are loading into the game. And as always, when you're loading into a game, you want to kind of look at both teams and try to plan out your early game. So one thing to note before we even talk about the gameplay at all, the Rammus tried to counterpick my Hecarim with Rammus, which in theory makes a lot of sense because both of the champions work in the same way. They both have very high movement speed, they get around the map quickly, and they can gank often. However, the thing about the matchup is Rammus, if he doesn't get an early lead, then he has no chance of doing better than Hecarim. Because Rammus doesn't do any damage, you know. He has to completely rely on his laners to damage for him when he ganks. And if a gank doesn't work out, he gets very behind. Hecarim, on the other hand, can fight people on his own, kill them, and gank more often. I don't know, in theory, it makes sense that you would want to pick Rammus into Hecarim, but in practice, Hecarim kind of crushes Rammus. If you wanted to counterpick Hecarim, just pick someone that can kill Hecarim a lot, because Hecarim doesn't win every 1v1, but he can certainly win a lot. So, anyways, we're on blue team, and we don't want chat to show. Okay. Alright, now as for the teams matchups, other than the jungle matchup, top lane, they have a... Let me go ahead and fast forward a little bit. Top lane, they have... Anivia, I think, went top this game, and I was showing off my skin, by the way. I wasn't BMing. I wanted everyone to see this skin because it looks so cool. We have a Gnar, they have Anivia, and I did start red in this game. I didn't want Rammus to invade. I didn't think Rammus was going to invade, but also starting Krugs doesn't really... You don't use your auto attacks. I mean, you use them, but they're not your primary thing, so getting Krug buff doesn't really make that much a difference on Hecarim. So I like to start red, do Raptors, and do blue, because that's going to get you to level 3 really quickly, and you're going to be able to start ganking. But anyways, I think I was talking about champion matchups. So we have Gnar versus Anivia top, Ahri versus LeBlanc mid, and Brand and Tristana versus Bard and Vayne bottom. So top lane is actually a really easy gank because both me and Gnar have pretty reliable CC, and Anivia has no escape other than placing a wall in between us. Mid lane sounds awful. Ahri and LeBlanc are both super hard to gank for, and LeBlanc's CC is a lot better than Ahri, so really the ganks are going to be easier for LeBlanc to get than Ahri to get. However, if Ahri needs help, I'll go there, but not looking to gank there. But as you can see, I am going to run top because Anivia is just such an easy gank. She has to flash here when I come in from the path that I did. Yeah, it's a free flash, and then if she pushes at all again without her flash, then she's going to die. So just... That's why Anivia goes mid, because top lane is a lot easier lane to gank than mid lane. Mid lane, they get to see you for a lot longer in mid than they do top when you're ganking them, and that's why they can get away. But top, you know, you can just pop right out of the bush, and they're already in a bad place. They're going to die. Here, I was running mid. I got caught by... I kind of got caught by Rammus and LeBlanc, and as you saw, I waited here until my smite came up, because I really wanted to clear one more camp before I backed. My smite came up, and then when you use your W and you smite, it'll heal you for your maximum amount of your W heal pretty much instantly. So that's what I did. And then I'm going to go back to jungling. I am going to kill Scuttle. Scuttle is a great way to gain life if you're low health in the jungle. However, the downside of using Scuttle is that obviously it's not in your jungle, it's in the middle. So if the enemy finds out, you're in a pretty bad location. But anyways, I never really finished talking about ganking. Definitely going to camp top as much as I can because Anivia is such a free gank. And then bot lane, they have a Vayne stun into a Bard stun, or other way around, is a lot of time of being stunned. And that's really powerful CC. But the only one that we can really kill is Brand. If we try to do that to Tristana, she's probably just going to jump out and be fine. And here, as you can see, I almost died to Krugs. But I did finally clear all of it. And it was really important that I did that because then I'm going to be able to get my jungle item and a longsword when I back instead of just having nothing. So, coming out of the jungle, or coming back to the jungle, and I did trade out my red trinket. This is when you trade out your red trinket as soon as you buy your smite item. If you don't buy a trackers, you can actually keep yellow trinket. It'll make your ganks a lot harder, but if you're not placing any wards on the map, you're really hindering your team. So you gotta find a way to place wards some way. If you don't have green smite, obviously, then you need to keep your yellow trinket. Here, no, not much is happening. Ahri is getting mega camped, and this was another thing that told me that this Rammus didn't really know what he was doing, because I would never camp an Ahri, ever. No matter what champion I'm playing, I would never look to camp an Ahri, because once she hits level 6, which she is, she has 3 flashes on her ult, and then she also has the Summoner Spell flash, so there's no reason to camp that as a jungler. The only time I would camp that as a jungler is if I had... If one, my mid lane was really far ahead and it was just going to be easy kills no matter what the enemy champion was, or 2, my mid laner had crazy CC like Galio mid. If Galio could get in an ult, then I might gank Ahri, but otherwise not going to worry about it. But here I am going to gank the LeBlanc. I'm not going to kill her because obviously she's a Blanc, and this is exactly why I don't like ganking LeBlanc. So you go there, I blow everything on her, and she just flashes away with one of her flashes. She has 2 flashes and a flash. Ahri has 3 flashes and a flash. I don't like messing with them. So I'm doing my best to keep this Ahri in the game because Rammus is camping her very hard. But what I really need to be doing right now is kind of spreading the love to the rest of the lanes. And I'm going to speed it up a little bit more. Also, there's no secret to jungling on Hecarim. It's not like he has an auto reset or you need to use your spells in a certain order. I don't ever use my E in the jungle. It's a lot of mana and it doesn't give you that much damage if you're just using it to clear the jungle. And then you just use your Q and your W whenever they're up. Here, my bot lane gets into a fight. I'm really low, but the Tristana was lower, so I'm going to be able to go kill her. And it turned it into a fair trade. I think Bard had died. Yeah, so me getting the Trist did pretty well. And then, as you can see, I'm starting to get fed. And spoiler alert, I get really fed this game. We can actually watch this LeBlanc kill because it was actually something to watch. But I get really fed this game, and that's why I was able to comfortably go the damage build. If you're behind, I don't really think the full damage build is your best option, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's just, if you're behind, you're not going to be able to use it that well. But anyways, LeBlanc gets into a fight. She gets a really bad trade out of it. I'm going to ult on her. I try to ult to where it's going to hit her whether she W's away or not, which unfortunately my ult doesn't hit her. But I'm going to E her. I have a red buff, so my red buff instantly applied. I used a Q, the Q hit her, and then my W also does a little bit of damage. All that damage over time together, plus my initial burst, is going to be able to be enough to kill her. And then now I'm 3-0, and I just keep getting kills. It was just, the enemy team, the reason that I got so many kills this game is because the enemy team kept pushing up versus a Hecarim. And Hecarim gets really easy ganks off because of his E. They did actually nerf Hecarim a couple of patches ago, and this wasn't really oriented at jungle Hecarim, but it did affect jungle Hecarim. So basically Hecarim doesn't run through units anymore unless he's using his E, which is, it's not that big a deal. It makes your ganks a little bit weaker, and it doesn't let you walk through jungle monsters anymore, which is lame, but I guess they thought top lane Hecarim needed it. Basically, he did kind of need it because top lane Hecarim could actually deny enemies CS. I'll tell you guys this, it doesn't matter at all anymore, and we'll actually rewind while I talk about this, but top lane Hecarim used to be able to just stand over minions, and then when the enemy tried to last hit a minion, if they weren't good at all, or good enough, not good at all, but if they weren't good enough, which if you're not high rank, you're not going to really, this is going to catch you off guard quite a lot. So basically he could stand over minions with his ignoring unit collision, and Hecarim has a lot larger body than minions, so then the enemy would click on Hecarim instead of the minion, and he could just deny CS like that. And that was a pretty unfair lead for Hecarim, so I guess that's why they removed it. But anyways, I come to gank mid because my Ahri's doing not that hot, and I'm doing really hot. And if me and Ahri were both doing okay, or not that hot, I probably wouldn't be camping mid just because of the matchup. But since I'm extremely fed right now, I'm 5-0 before this Anivia dies. She's not gonna die, but I'm 5-0. She does die, just not me. Okay, anyways, it's not good to gank lanes that you don't think you can kill, but when you're this far ahead, you can gank whatever lane you want. So I decided I wanted to gank mid, so I went there. Tristana has to... I almost killed Tristana, but she had her whole team there, and I didn't really have backup. Gnar was there, but he couldn't really do anything to help me, so I'm going to have to leave. Bard comes mid. I'm really low health, so all I can do is run in if a target's really low. Fight this Trist. I'm going to mouth through her. If she had lived, she died before I got there, which is fine. I got the experience, so it's not like it bothers me. Now it's back to jungling. Oh yeah, as far as smites on Hecarim, definitely smite Raptors because you are a gank-focused jungler. And then usually smite Gromp is what I do. You don't want to smite Krugs because you don't auto that much, and you are kind of a tanky champion. Even on the damage build, you're still going to have a good amount of health, so Gromp's going to be pretty good on you. Yeah, my Vayne takes my red, that's fine, but I do want my Krugs, so I hit level 11. And now, pretty much, this game's over. I mean, we'll watch the whole thing, and it does last 30 whole minutes, but basically, the reason this game lasted long, we didn't even throw. I just didn't want to end because I was having so much fun playing Hecarim this fed. So basically, if you, and you really shouldn't do that in ranks. I don't recommend ever doing that in ranks because you never know what could happen. One of your teammates could DC for like a minute, or pretty much anything could happen, and then you lose the game because you wasted time not ending. So, but this was off season. The season's about to end, and the Tristana was really cool. You saw we were just dancing. So, you know, I didn't take this game as seriously as I should. You know, it's a ranked game. You should really take it seriously. But anyways, basically, I think I died once this game. All the rest of the time, I walk into a lane, I do what I want. If the enemy tries to contest me, I'm going to kill them. So as far as build goes, I did go for the Triforce route. I went for Zeal over Phage as my second part. You definitely want, if you're going Triforce, you definitely want Sheen first no matter what. But then second, this gives you movement speed, so it technically gives you a little more attack damage. Phage gives you a little bit of movement speed when you're hitting things, and that'll make your jungling a lot quicker. So really, if you have the gold, go for Phage. If you don't, I don't think I did, go for Zeal. And here, the bot lane is super pushed up, so I'm going to come in. We're going to obliterate the Brand really quick. I got a crit on him, actually, so I guess that has, Zeal has that going for him. I obliterate the Brand, and then I did enough damage to the Trist for Vayne's going to be able to kill her, and then we take the turret. That's one thing to note. You really do need to take turrets in this fast meta that League's in right now. Which, if you have the chance, you should pretty much always take turrets no matter what the meta is. But if you don't take turrets, right, whenever you can in this meta, then you're just going to get behind because the enemy is going to take turrets. You know, that's how it always happens for me. I leave a turret up and I immediately regret it afterwards. So just kill turrets whenever you can. It gives you a lot of gold. It gives a lot of gold nearby and it gives global gold. So make sure you kill turrets. And then now I'm 7-0-2. Like I said, I can do whatever I want on the map, honestly. It was a really fun game for me to play. Poor Tristana walks into me. She flashes, she heals, she ults me. Well, she didn't flash, but she healed and she ulted me away, but it doesn't matter. I'm way faster than Tristana also. She only has boots 1. I already have my Triforce completed, and I have Swiftness boots, so I move very, very quickly. I'm going to grab the dragon because you should always grab dragons if you're ahead. We've talked about this before, but basically, the first dragon and the 5th dragon are the most important dragons, except for Hecarim, actually. 3rd dragon's really important for Hecarim, too. But anyways, 1st dragon and 5th dragon are the very important ones. But if the enemy doesn't get a... and you can see me and Vayne are trolling here. Like I said, this was not a serious game once I was this fed. But anyways, the thing about dragon is if you can deny the enemy dragons, all of your dragons get a lot more gold value because you're basically debuffing the enemy by not letting them get the 6% damage increase. So the longer you can shut out dragons, the more important they get, and then as soon as an enemy does get a dragon, it shouldn't be your top priority anymore. Then you should start focusing on turrets the most. Don't worry about dragon, unless if you're Hecarim. I really want to get the 3 dragons, but normal champions, 3 dragons is good, but it shouldn't be at the top of your priority list. The top of your priority list should be pushing down turrets and getting a bunch of global gold for your team once the enemy has a dragon. But if you're shutting them out, keep shutting them out, because it's really good. Then here, once again, poor Anivia runs into me. And my ult didn't actually interrupt her ult for some reason. I thought Fears would do that, but it didn't. But you know, it doesn't matter. I'm way too fed. Way too fed for anything like that to bother me. Here, I didn't know Hecarim or Brand had his exhaust, so that's why I'm not going to be able to kill him. Hecarim, or Rammus, Jesus, I could not get that word out. Rammus tries to chase me, but it's that thing where, yeah, Rammus can get a lot of movement speed, but, I mean, he's still not as fast as Hecarim. You know, Hecarim's really fast, especially with the build I went. And you can see Rammus actually went for Alacrity Boots, and I'm probably going to go for Alacrity Boots when I finish my Spirit Visage. That's not necessarily the time you need to go for it, but basically whenever you have the extra gold for it, you might as well get it. And here, I'm kind of waiting around for an engage to happen, just because I do so much damage. I can engage, and I have a pretty good engage, but I do so much damage this game that me engaging and dying would actually hurt my team more than me just cleaning up afterwards. Which I know cleaning up afterwards sounds really greedy, but when you do the most damage on your team and you die at the beginning of the team fight, that's going to hurt your team, because I took 9 of the kills that I was involved in. That means I kept most of the gold, and I built items for it. So in that scenario, you really need to act like you're the carry. You know, don't come in first and die. You need to go into the fights later, kill everyone that you can, let them waste a few ults, you know, stuff like that. And I don't really like playing like that in the jungle. My personal preference is playing tank junglers, and that's why the first Hecarim video was actually a tank Hecarim video. But, you know, if you are carrying, you gotta act like you're carrying, is pretty much what I'm gonna say. As far as abilities go, we didn't talk about those. I do max Q first on Hecarim, obviously. Hecarim's bread and butter is his Q, and then I actually max W second on Hecarim. Maxing your E will theoretically give you more damage, and it'll make your ganks theoretically better, but if you max your W, you heal so much. You start healing insane amounts if you max your W, so I just like to always be full health. Probably my tanky nature, but if you want to max E second, I don't recommend it at all. I don't think that the benefits of maxing E outweigh the benefits of maxing W, especially in jungle Hecarim, but I mean, you can do whatever you want. Especially when you're this fed, you can definitely do whatever you want. So here, Rammus gets caught out. We'll actually talk about this team fight a little. I've been kind of breezing through this game because really nothing happened this game. I was just able to go to lanes. If a lane is overextended on when you're Hecarim, just gank them, because you move faster than them, and you have a knockback, and you do a ton of damage with this build. So just gank. Just keep on spamming ganks. It's like Quinn almost. Same thing as Quinn. You just gank all the time, and they always work out because you're a really good ganker. Here, Rammus overextends trying to catch my Gnar. Gnar's he's going to get out of this somehow, and then Rammus gets really low. I'm almost about to hit like a 5-man ult, but Bard ults them. You know, it's fine. Bard didn't do it to troll me. He did catch all of them, but if he hadn't, my ult would have hit him, but whatever. It happened. We're going to kill LeBlanc. I get ulted by Tristana out of the fight because they don't want me killing everyone, so I have to leave and then come back. But basically, all that did, Tristana ulting me away, all that did was make her team never going to be able to kill me because they wasted all their cooldowns on my teammates. So now I get to come in for free. And we're trying to take this turret, but I can't take it that long because I'm not tank Hecarim. And right now I'm going to go top because there were no minions mid, and top has a huge wave, and Gnar teleports in. So all these things make top a really good lane to gank. We get the turret. I'm going to leave because, honestly, I left kind of selfishly because I didn't want my KDA to go bad. But, yeah. As far as team fights on Hecarim, ideally you ult the enemy AD carry and you kill them at the beginning of the fight. With this build, you'll certainly do enough damage to do that. It's just a matter of whether they CC you once you do it. You can also jump on the enemy mid laner. Basically, in this game, I would probably jump on a Nivea if no one else was, just to CC her and make her ult stop. But as a general rule, you would jump on the enemy AD carry, not the mid laner. Well, Anivia was their top laner, but you know what I mean. And then, oh yeah, so as far as my build went this game, I lied earlier when I said I built Maw because I didn't know what I was doing. The enemy team has 4 AP, if you can't tell. Rammus does magic damage. Even though he gains AD with his armor, he does magic damage. Anivia does magic damage. Brand does magic damage. LeBlanc does magic damage. And I think Triss E even does magic damage. So they do a ton of magic damage. And I was so fed that all I had to do this game was build magic resist and kill Tristana at the beginning of every fight. And that way, I'm not going to die to anyone else because I have so much magic resist, you know. That's all I had to do. So I went Spirit Visage first. Spirit Visage is fine to rush anyways. You can rush it or Deadman's Plate, just depending on what your verse is. I did go Maul this game. You don't necessarily have to go Maul, but it was so good into my enemy team that I'm going to go with. And I did miss the Smite. I don't think I even used Smite. There was no risk of steal. What risk of steal means is that obviously if the enemy has any chance of getting something from you, then it has a risk of steal. But in this case, we had perfect wards all over their jungle, so I knew the enemy wasn't even contesting it, so then you don't have to smite it. Basically, you should save your smite to where you have to use it as a general rule, but it's not ever a bad idea to smite secure Baron either. Just remember that you don't have to if there's no risk of steal. And now, like I said, the game's pretty much over. It did last a long time, but I got a lot of kills early, and then the game pretty much ended whenever I wanted to. And my team actually started freaking out is why this game ended when it did. Because they were like, guys, we got a group, we got to hurry up and end. And I was just like, we can win whenever we want. I was definitely fed enough to end this game whenever I felt like it. So we started grouping. Built Magic Resist, focus enemy AD carry. That's not always going to be the case, but it is almost always best to focus enemy AD carry. And yeah, Hecarim's a really straightforward champion. He's easy. He's super easy. You just gank all the time. It's really easy to get ganks off, and if you build this much damage, if you're allowed to build this much damage, then you're going to like two-shot their squishy champions. Here, I go ahead and finish the game because I don't throw it Baron at Nexus. The worst thing in the game, in the world, is when you're finishing a Nexus off and then your team goes for kills instead of kills to Nexus and then you lose the game off of that. Nothing feels worse than that. So that's why I go ahead and finish off the Nexus. But anyways, this was a really short video. I didn't even realize the commentary was going to be this short, but nothing really happened. I mean, also, if you want more Hecarim footage, of course, you can check out that other Hecarim video. There's going to be a link in the description below. But basically, on Hecarim, gank lanes that are easy to gank, you only have the one auto attack knockback. So if they have, like, LeBlanc's not an easy lane to gank, but if she pushed, I could gank her. Anivia is a really easy lane to gank, and that's why we went top very early. And Brand is really easy to gank. Trist really isn't. So they don't have dashes, definitely camp them. If they do have dashes and they push, you can still gank them. Once you hit level 6, you should be getting kills pretty much every time you gank. And as far as the build goes, we already talked about it. It was just a pretty much straightforward game, this gameplay was, and Hecarim was really straightforward, but like I said, if you want more commentary about him, feel free to go check out the other Hecarim video. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!